A great question that we get as Christians all the time is, how do we know that Christianity is true? How do we know that it is the correct religion? If you look at all the other religions out there, Buddhism, Hinduism, and so on and so forth, what makes Christianity true?
That is a really good question. It's something that I found myself asking when I started to question whether or not I was a Christian. What makes this true? Like, why do I think that it's true? And I came away from that question realizing that I wasn't a Christian and I wasn't a theist either. I came away as an atheist. So I'm always quite interested to see how people handle this question. Now, for me, I looked at the historical context of the Bible, seeing if anything in the Bible matches to history or to reality in general. Also, I analyzed the internal logic of the Bible to see if it makes sense even within its own theology. I analyzed all of that, and I came away not being convinced that the Bible represents reality or even represents the best way to live. So let's see how this young apologist answers this question.
Now, you can try and explain away all the other religions and their differences or similarities, but yet the question will still remain, what is it that makes Christianity true?
Let me see if I can predict where you're going to go with this. It's historically accurate. There are predictions in the Old Testament that come true in the New Testament, and therefore it has to be true. I don't know. There's so many different routes you could go with this. Let's see where he goes with it.
Something that I would like to point out about Christianity that makes Christianity extremely different than any other religion out there is Christianity is the only religion that gives the problem, the solution, if you will, to sin through the cross.
I'm sorry. Did you just say that Christianity is the only religion that solves the problem of sin with Christianity? Yeah? I'm sorry, the Christian religion isn't true just because it's the Christian religion. I feel like the question of is Christianity true, it must rely on some kind of internal analysis of the theology, whether it be historical or not. I would hope that you'd want to analyze what the religion actually says. Is this solution to the problem of sin really a good solution? How does this solution compare to the solution of others? I don't know. I've got so many questions going on right now.
All other religions out there, they don't have that solution.
Are you talking about other religions other than Abrahamic religions? Is that what you're talking about? Because the idea of sin in other religions is kind of sparse. You do have some concepts in some Eastern religions that mimic sin or are sin, but still, they have ways of mitigating sin. What makes their ways of mitigating sin worse than Christianity's blood sacrifice way? Because, that's essentially what the sacrifice in the Bible is. It's a blood sacrifice to atone for sins. It's just that it happens to be a human sacrifice this time instead of an animal sacrifice. Because as we all know, human blood magic is so much better than animal blood magic. Hell, you could coat yourself with goat's blood all day. That would not measure up to the blood of a crucified Jewish man in the first century.
Now, what do I mean by this? When Jesus died on the cross, he became sin who knew no sin. So, in other words, he took my sin upon himself and nailed that sin to a cross to become that sacrifice and atonement for that sin. Past, present, and future sins.
All this seems to do is conveniently resolve it. That doesn't mean that other religions out there don't also have a way to mitigate the problem of sin. And that's even if the religion has a concept of sin to begin with, like Buddhism. They don't really have a concept of sin in their religion. The other Eastern religions that do have a concept of sin, they still have ways to mitigate the sin and resolve it. That does not include the sacrifice of a Jewish man.
No other religion out there solves that problem. When Jesus When Jesus died on that cross, he eliminated our sin. Now we are still sinful people, but he paid the price for that sin. That debt has been paid as long as we accept the free gift.
You know, this whole idea of a free gift of salvation always kind of like fucked me up a little bit. Okay, here's why. It's because it wasn't free. Like it wasn't a free gift. I mean, of course, Jesus is giving it away, but Jesus, in the theology and the story of Christianity, he had to give up his life. Now, whether or not you want to consider that really a sacrifice because he is God, and it was really just a 3-day vacation. He took 3 days to spawn again. Either way that you want to see it, still, there was a person that died for this free gift. I don't consider that to be free. If you were to take, let's say, Shintoism, they have a concept of sin in it, and it has some devastating ramifications within the religion, but they also have a way of mitigating sin through purification rituals. So, true, they don't have a Jewish man that died in the first century to use his blood to wash the sins away, but, I mean, they do have ways of mitigating it. I don't see how Christianity is better than Shintoism.